All right, guys, I am joined with Kyle Magna of RaceChaserOnline.com. And Kyle, we're at the halfway point of the NASCAR Sprint Cup season, and you know what? I think it's been a pretty good half. What have you thought of this half?
I was really surprised, Joe, because I heard a lot of people say that Pocono race was pretty good on this past Monday. Almost said Sunday. I was there Sunday, but I've been pleasantly surprised at the racing. I know we saw the whole thing at Charlotte. Martin Truex Jr. led 588 of the 600 miles, but you compare like the racing last year at Charlotte to this year. I thought it was slightly better this year because I was there in Charlotte last year. They couldn't pass.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
On the race on a fuel mileage, and the thing is, that was the only way he was getting up there. It was just so hard
Right.
for anybody to pass with having so much downforce. So now that you take away the downforce, we've seen it at Dover, we've seen it at Bristol, we've seen good races this year. And coming into this point of the season, I'm not disappointed or anything because I'm actually looking forward to the race. And Joe, it's nice to have that feeling again of going every single week, not really knowing who is going to win the race.
Right.
Look at Chase Elliott last week at Pocono. Leads 51 laps, leads a chunk of that race, finishes fourth, and out of nowhere, Kurt Busch comes in. It's pretty much a fuel mileage race, and it's been interesting how these races have been playing out this year, especially when we go to Michigan with the same package we had at the All-Star race. Gonna turn a lot of heads. But
Right.
what we've seen so far this year is we've seen a lot of great races.
Yeah.
There may have been a one or two in the bad bunch, but that happens. You're not always going to get the best race, but we've seen a lot of great racing this year. Excluding the restrictor plate tracks, but other than that, there's just been a lot of great racing this season. I mean, take Dover for example, great race. Kind of tamed the first half, but once it gets down to the end, it's all or nothing, and we saw what happened there. What a finish there! Back in May.
Yeah. I'm looking at the schedule of races that have happened this year. I thought the best race this year was Atlanta. What do you think? You think Atlanta was the best race?
Well, I think what was nice about that race is I sat down and watched it, and it was a typical Atlanta race. You saw the tires wear, you saw comers and goers, and that strategy that 48 team just played it to perfection because they were not as fast as the 4-car, but when they came down, took tires, and then when the caution came out, they're in the right place at the right time. And what I really liked about that was like a typical Chad Knaus kind of move you would see in the past. And even though they won the race the year before, I thought this race had a lot more excitement to it. A lot of comers and goers, and that's what you see out of a race like Atlanta. With that being one of the oldest surfaces on the schedule, I think it's the second oldest. So there's just so many. That's what I always enjoy about that track. You can run any lane you want. You can run the bottom. You can run the top. You can search for grip.
Right.
And really, what's nice is, and you were at Las Vegas. I think the races have been a little bit better this year on the mile-and-a-half track.
Yeah, definitely.
And Atlanta was, I thought, one of probably the best mile-and-a-half we've had this year so far. Vegas was okay. Auto Club was all right. I know that's a 2-mile track.
Right.
Kansas was okay. Texas, what I heard, wasn't that great. But, when you do your homework, Joe, like the 78 team and what Gibbs is doing right now, they have been on a roll. Kurt Busch comes out, wins the Pocono, and ends that streak, and then we come back a couple weeks ago, we see Martin Truex Jr. put on that dominating performance. So a lot going on right now in the Spring Cup Series. We still got a lot to look forward to. We're going to actually have our first off week next week. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Just so many things. Well, actually, the second off week, excuse me, but the second off week, but we're still going to have Xfinity and truck action. So it's definitely not over yet, even though Father's Day weekend won't feature a Cup race anymore. But we've got a lot of great races this year.
Yeah, and you look at the remaining schedule, like you got the races in the Chase, then you have like the races in August, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Michigan. Coming up, who do you think will be a contender for the championship, you think?
This is a hard question.
Yeah.
I think right now you it has to come out the Gibbs camp at this moment because they've been so good.
Yeah.
They didn't show it as much at Pocono. They were up there. They were trying to take down Chase Elliott, but the middle point of that race, nobody can get up to the 24. And actually, Chase pulled away at one point in the race. But right now, you look at the Gibbs guys, Martin Truex Jr. That team has done their homework. Gibbs and Toyota have done their homework. They're still fast every single week. I think Michigan coming up with all the lower, even lower downforce rules. It's going to be interesting to see how a full race is going to be with that, even though we had some of that mirror in the All-Star race, but not as much. But what's going to be nice is going into Michigan and also Sonoma as well. I think that's a really big wild card, especially for a guy like A.J. Allmendinger. I mean, you saw it last year. I mean, I think him winning the pole at the Glen was kind of a bad luck kind of deal because he didn't do good, but you look at the championship contenders, I said right now, I think it's coming right out of the Gibbs camp. I forget who I picked as my preseason, but I'm pretty sure I picked Carl Edwards. I picked him last year. Thought he was going to have kind of like a Matt Kenseth breakout season, like his first year at Gibbs. I didn't make the final round, but nevertheless, that 19 team, they've been strong every single week. And it just doesn't seem like it's just been just one Gibbs car dominating. It's been all of them.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
haven't seen them win as much, but Kyle Busch has the most wins right now. But other than that, they've been on the rolls of late.
Yeah, looking at the chase, do you think the wild card race in the chase will be the first race at Chicago?
I really don't know at this point. I mean, you look at all the things. Dover's pretty much been all Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. Loudon might be another one because we had a field island race last year. Chicagoland, depending what we have, depending how these the two events we're going to have this lower downforce package, is whether NASCAR is going to actually use it for the chase, or they're just going to go back to what they've been using. And Joe, what they've been using, I mean, it's been really good. I think we were just overreacting a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too, right?
Charlotte, because the 78 was so good, and you cannot take that away from that team. They were on their game, and I've never seen a car dominate the 600 like that in my life.
Right.
Even Jimmy Johnson went 500 miles back in 2004. I've never seen someone who dominated that race like Martin Truex Jr., and that's a team you definitely want to keep an eye on. I know they had some pretty bad luck at Pocono in the pits and never really recovered, but just that those Toyotas look good. And Chicagoland coming up, going to be a day race. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 400. What a name that is!
I know.
So it's just nice to have those kid friendly kind of deals come in as well. You were there last year. I think you were there last year for the SpongeBob race.
That's right. In Kansas. Right. So I was. Yep. And the races coming up. Basically, you got the races that are leading up to the chase. Okay, Indy, Pocono, Watkins Glen, Bristol, Michigan, and Darlington. All those races lead up to the chase. Those are the races that maybe we can see an upset and somebody sneak into the chase. Who do you think will that be? Maybe Eric Almirola?
Well, the way things have been going, I've been really impressed by Kyle Larson. I was pretty much counting him out a couple weeks ago, and then Dover happens, and he really wins that race. So I think it's really weird you bring that up because I actually picked Chase Elliott for Pocono, the first one, and he almost won the race, and I'm not really shocked. He ran as well as he did. Pleasantly impressed as I was, but not surprised because, like I said, 51 laps led. Has an ARCA win there too. I mean, he took down Eric Jones of all people in that race a couple years ago. So I think right now you could see somebody like a Chase Elliott or a Kyle Larson win. I don't think we're going to see much of a surprise. I mean, we could see A.J. Allmendinger step up and get maybe a win on the road course. We saw it a couple years ago at the Glen with that great battle between he and Marcus Ambrose. And I mean, you look at and Eric Almirola, as you brought up, is also another good driver because he has shown speed at times. He's shown it last year. He has it this year. And he's trying to get back in the chase again, trying to get back in the victory lane. He's not a bad driver. You look at just when you look up and down the entire Spring Cup Series right now, I mean, it's a very wide open competition for the most part because it just seems like every single week I go into watching a race. It's just nice not knowing who's going to win. Right,
exactly. And it's been a pretty crazy, unpredictable season, to say the least. And when we got the second half going on, and basically you got like the next third races will be to the chase. Then the chase happens, and the chase it's like its own like thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like its own playoff type deal, and wherever towards the end of the chase, that's when we see all the intensity, and we always see Kenseth, and remember last year Kenseth and Logano, and a few years ago Gordon and Keselowski and all that stuff. It's always something like that. So basically everyone's calm now, but it's like the calm before the storm, right?
I agree. I think we're just seeing drivers trying to get into the chase, trying to get wins. and you got to be in it to win it.
Right.
You have to at the end of the season. I mean, you look at like a guy like Jeff Gordon last year. I always use that example. Him winning in Martinsville. Who would have thought he would have a shot going into the final race to win a championship? The way that team performed all season long, he just pretty much minding his own business, let Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth do their own thing, and look at that, he's in victory lane. So this format has been really interesting the last couple of years. Definitely not a lack of drama. And next year's going to be interesting because Talladega and Kansas are going to swap chase race dates. So that's going to be even more interesting because we won't have the restrictor plate wild card, or as Mark Martin puts it, the lottery, before the second to last round of the chase. And I think once we start up here in Chicagoland in September, I think the intensity is just going to rise.
Awesome. I can't wait, man. Well, thanks again, Kyle Magna, and they can follow you on Twitter. What was your Twitter handle again?
That's at Kyle Magda, at KYLEMAGDA. And also you can follow Race Chaser Online's Twitter, at Race Chaser News, for all your news, interviews,
and reviews
stories from the racing world. There's just so much going on right now, and I'm just glad for you to have me, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.